Why is there something rather than nothing? Why, that is, does anything exist at all? Surely this complex and specific world of ours cries out for an explanation, a reason why it is the way it is. These questions lead us to one of the most powerful ideas in all of philosophy, the principle of sufficient reason, or PSR. This principle is the seed intuition which underscores our incessant striving for explanations. At its core, the PSR states that everything that is true, everything that happens, and everything that exists must have a reason or explanation that is sufficient to make it so. Whether it's an event, an entity, an object, or even existence itself, everything must have a sufficient reason. This idea is essential to every attempt to know, guiding philosophy, science, and logic for centuries. It has exerted a profound influence over how we think about such things as causality, necessity, and knowledge, to name but a few. The roots of the PSR can be traced back to before the beginning, to the origin of reason itself. Parmenides and Plato suggested that reality must be intelligible, that things do not happen without reason. But it was in early modern philosophy that the PSR took on its most rigorous form. The philosopher Gottfried Leibniz is most associated with the PSR. He formulated it as a foundational principle of metaphysics. Nothing happens without a sufficient reason. For Leibniz, this principle led to his famous argument that the universe itself must have an explanation, which he identified as God, the necessary being that explains contingent existence. A contemporary of his, Baruch Spinoza, also used the PSR, but arrived at very different conclusions. He argued that reality is self-explanatory, identifying God with nature itself. In Spinoza's view, everything unfolds according to strict necessity, leaving no room for chance or contingency. The PSR also played a central role in Immanuel Kant's philosophy, though he was careful to limit its scope. While Kant accepted that things must have reasons, he argued that our ability to know these reasons is constrained by the way our minds impose structure upon reality. Beyond the philosophical arena, the PSR underpins scientific inquiry itself. Modern physics assumes that the universe is orderly and intelligible, that for every phenomenon there is an explanation waiting to be discovered. The very structure of rational argument, mathematical proofs, and empirical investigation relies on the assumption that reality is comprehensible and that reasons can be found to explain why things are as they are and happen as they do. But what if the PSR were false? If some facts simply had no reason, what would that mean for our ability to understand the world? How then could we make meaningful claims about reality if there did not have to be reasons as to why things are the way they are, rather than some other way they might have been? If reality were truly chaotic and arbitrary, then philosophy, science, and even ordinary reasoning would simply collapse, as there could be no basis for the expectation that our thoughts are capable of corresponding to a rationally structured world. In fact, the entire pursuit of knowledge presupposes that explanations are possible, and the PSR is the foundation of this assumption. If we wish to jettison the PSR, we risk throwing the baby out with the bathwater. How can we retain our scientific inheritance if we undermine the concept of reason itself? Indeed, it is impossible. The PSR is as necessary to thinking as air is to breathing. So, next time you find yourself asking why, or any other question, just remember, you're engaging with the principle of sufficient reason. But we might yet wonder, does it hold universally? Or are there things that simply have no reason at all? If there were such things, what would they be? And how could we ever even know of them?